Are we here? Let's see if it works. Looks like it's working. All right. Oh, we have an unannounced live stream tonight. Going to be tonight and probably Sunday to Monday. And I'm going to be doing just a small photo set from a visit to the old HALETHORPE Interlocking just south of Baltimore. But that's probably going to be a tomorrow thing because the other part of this involves some New York City Subway maps. I was doing a poor job of scanning. Now, I still have these, so I don't really need to be redoing them. But, you know, it's always one of those. Might as well. What's going on? What did I do with this? Okay, come on. So, what I actually did with these back in the day was I took pictures, poor man's scanner, and pasted them together. There we go. And sort of a hodgepodge, but I'm just gonna do, take these at the full resolution and just clean them up best I can. See what I can do with it. So this is actually the back of a 1983 New York City Subway map. We'll get to the front in a bit. Now this one's sort of blurry. Should probably redo this, but like I said, I already have the pictures. So, when I get around to the front, you can actually, I'm gonna wait for people to. No one's really here yet, probably, but the other map I have is the famous 1974 map, which was and we'll get into that one. There was an interesting newspaper article I read about why the 1974 map failed, and it's generally considered to be a triumph of design, but it somehow failed in what people needed, in particular of a New York City subway map. And I'll explain how that works in a second. So let me just get through this 1983 one real fast here. Now, what I did in back in the day when I did this the first time is I actually hand stitched these. I didn't have Photoshop at the time. So I just did it by hand. I'll show you what I did. I think I did a pretty good job. I'm not going to do that now. I might just have my friend has Photoshop, and I usually get him to do all my stitch work when I need it. But I'm not sure if this works. What I would also do is I would probably just re-photo these maps. But honestly, there's probably better people who have their own subway maps. But these are just neat to have, and I have the pictures, so I'm just going to do them up right now. Four. So just for your information, whoever's watching, where is this? Yeah, so I hand stitched them together. It's not great, but it looks pretty competent from a pretty far zoom. This is the front. I did these I put these on the floor of my old apartment. You can see the crappy carpeting if you look closely on the border there. I'm not bothered. I'm just numbering these things up fast. We'll get to more interesting things in a second, but I'm just going to bang these out really quick here. So, like I said, most of what today is involving is the HALETHORPE interlocking on which is at the border of the CSX Baltimore Terminal sub and the CSX Capital sub. It was eliminated in around 1985-86 and replaced with the new St. DENIS interlocking. But the tower there, the old HX tower, is still around. What the? Oh, yeah, that's right. So, you know, it's still an interesting place, and I just did a photo set of it just this last spring, and that'll be going up on my blog in a week or two. But I figured if I was going to get stuff up on the blog, I might as well go and redo these photos that I took back in the in 2005. Anyway, oops, don't want to resize these. The 3 megapixel resolution again is not leaving a lot to be desired. So that's the 1983 subway map, and here we can see the iconic design of the what is generally known as the 1974 map. I forget who designed it. It's some guy. I could look it up. I don't think anyone cares. I mean, you can look it up. Some Spanish guy. It's some European or Spanish guy who did it. Anyway, the thing is that most cities with complicated transit systems, or even non-complicated transit systems, use stylized maps. There's a time. It's not iconographic. It's something else. And the London Underground's a good example. DC Metro, every one of them. It's basically the routes you see are a route-based map and not a not like a geographic based way that the things work. As you can see here, everything is highly stylized, not to scale, etc., etc. And for some reason, New Yorkers hated the 1974 map, and despite the fact that, the London Underground map is on mugs and cups and T-shirts, but what was up with New Yorkers? Why did they hate the stylized route-based map so much? And it turns out that in the 1970s, with the rampant crime, people needed to know. They didn't care about, what the routes were. They needed to know what the closest stop to their destination was, because they'd get stabbed. So you needed a map that would show you, because this one, you look at Manhattan, it's just a jumble of routes here. I mean, and it's not based on reality. It's not based on the physical geography. If you live somewhere over here, I'm going to point over here on the west side. Where's Lincoln Center? It's not on the map. What's the closest station to it where I won't get stabbed? I don't know. It's not on the map. So New Yorkers and associated tourists needed that information, and that's why even though it was wildly hailed as a triumph of design, it ultimately failed as a useful object, a useful item for navigation, simply because of New York's unique 1970s crime problems. So that's the secret history behind the failure of the 1970s map. Just let me finish this one. So I'm not resizing. As you notice, I'm not resizing any, and I have some of the old files in this folder, so I'm just overwriting them. So that gives me the names. All right. Hey, look, we've already finished our first batch here. Let's see who's on the old chat here. I got some people watching. Yeah. It came up in the New York Times with the issues. I'm not sure when it was. I saw an article about it recently, and I just noticed that I had these photos of it. Yeah, it's an interesting thing. When did you see Brian? If you're around, when did you see the program? Was it a while ago or was it recently? Because, like I said, I just saw an article on it somewhat recently. I've got some other cool stuff in here too. So it's not just New York. It's not just New York. I worked at I used to volunteer at a free book place in Baltimore City, and I was sorting through donations, and I just happened to come across like a whole bunch of classic early 80s, late 1970s transit maps. Now, these things aren't rare. You can buy them on eBay for a couple of bucks. It's easy to overestimate how the value of older printed matter. But I grabbed them and I gave them a good home. And trying to get them up online was one of the first things I did. So probably should renumber these in a slightly better way. Well. I love the crazy colors. I mean, like you're so used to the color schemes now, but I don't even know. Did I guess did they color them this way? I don't know. In like a yellow 6 train. What? What craziness is that? It's nuts. Yellow 6 train. Let's make sure I'm redoing these in the right way. Uh-oh. I think I think I screwed something up here. Yep, I overwrote stuff. Damn it. So much for progress. Oh, great. All right, 1 second. Now I gotta go pull stuff out of the recycle bin. Damn it. I think I know where they'd find them. Hold on. Wasn't the first 4? 1, 2, 3, 4. It was probably these 2. Yeah, that's them. Oh, wait, no, I need the rear ones. Yeah. Derp. Sorry, just gotta finish this mistake up, and we can continue with tonight's program. Alright, now we may proceed. Finished all that stuff. Okay. Anyway, so like I was saying, I don't actually know what I was saying. Yeah, I don't know what was up with these crazy colors. But I love how 70s it is. I mean, it's a perfect representation of the 1970s. These just the way they've chosen the colors here. Just trying to crop them nicely. Here it goes. There it goes. Last one. 1974. Rear 4. Done. What's next? Okay, here's got some cool stuff. Rotate right. This is a very early Metro map. Not the earliest. The earliest DC Metro maps were DuPont Circle to Rhode Island Ave, pretty much, or even less. But this one, which I think is 77, Scott, it only has Silver Spring to DuPont Circle, Orange Line to something. Was that Arlington? No, it's not Arlington. I can't read it. And Blue Line down to National Airport. Still National Airport, and I think it goes up to New Carrollton too. So let me see how I was. I guess. So yeah, I was hacking these together back in the day too. So it's gonna be like left and right. So this will just be left. Man, I did a pretty good job stitching that one together. But yeah, it's neat seeing all these maps today, especially when we're all used to the systems being functionally complete. Yeah, and here we can see the line out to New Carrollton. The ones that ran along right of ways got done pretty quick. Silver Spring, New Carrollton. They just had to run the tracks. So it was the tunneling that really got you. Although they really wanted to do the red line because that's the one that would actually serve stuff. I think this is 77. Oh, 79. I'm sorry. Yeah, Orange Line goes from Vienna Square, Ballston. Yeah, they still do short turns at Ballston, too. New Carrollton to Ballston, Blue Line is Stadium Armory to the National Airport, and the red line is Silver Spring to DuPont Circle. Oh, cool, we got a fare chart. Did I get this wrong? Is this shit upside down? Nah. Is that distance or fares? Rush hour fares. Oh, I can't read it because it's upside down. This is the reverse side of the map. I've seen this picture. That's a pretty famous shot there with the. I don't know where that was taken. Probably somewhere around Stadium Armory. The one down here with the Capitol dome in the background. I've seen that in other publications. Older rail books had that a lot. Right. Looks Looks like they had some sort of bike program even back in the day. I think this tells you how to use the automated fare collection systems too. Yeah, those machines did not have the best interface. I remember as a kid going down to DC, and it would take, you had a bunch of students or Boy Scouts or whatever, and it would just take forever having to figure those fare machines out. The new ones, I think, are a bit better. They kind of kept the same design, though, with, like, add 5 cents or subtract 5 cents, etc., etc., etc. This is cool. I love this. This is a neat thing I got. It's an old 1983 MARC schedule. This is right after there was a period of time. This is, I think, when they might have. I'm not sure if they were running the Arrow 2s, but the service is just pathetic. You don't have half the stations. Well, maybe you do. You don't have, I guess I was saying Seabrook, Bowie, Odenton, BWI, HALETHORPE, West Baltimore. All right, I guess all the stations. I feel like there's a station that's not there. Huh. I guess let's go Odenton to Bowie. But, like, look how terrible the service is. Remember, the stations are on the vertical column. You have 4 trains in the peak direction and 1 off-peak train. And the off-peak is clearly a deadhead, because it's New Carroll, the Deadhead Express, because something comes in, so they probably want to do on 3 train sets. Right, oh no, it is reverse peak. I mean, it's, reverse peak would be a 7:20 leaving DC to go back to Baltimore. So that probably is the 6:50 train. Sorry, the 7:02 train runs back to Baltimore by 8:06 and comes back at the 8:30. So they have the reverse peak service is just there to move train sets around. Bravo. Hey, a lot of systems don't even do that. They'll just run them empty. Shoreline East would have, they actually labeled them like off-peak expresses or deadheads or something like that. So this is the Amtrak one for 1983. And the other side of it has the B&O line, which was still B&O back in 1983. Here's a fun fact. So up through 1983, you had Conrail was running most of the commuter services in the Northeast, and I'll say the regular. By the way, look. The B&O's frequency only has 1 less train than the Amtrak one. It was pretty competitive. Also, no Laurel Racetrack. St. Denis, Elk Ridge. Where is that? That's interesting. So today there's Dorsey, but back in the day there was an Elk Ridge stop. I wonder where that station was. This is directly applicable. Hyattsville's there today. Riverdale's there today. College Park's there today. Berwyn, no Greenbelt. No Greenbelt station. That had not been built yet. Let me just see if I can find this. Okay, where would an Elk Ridge station be? This is where things go wrong. I have no idea. So that's St. Denis up there. There's the St. Denis stop. Then it curves down. I wonder if it was right off Route 1. Boy, wouldn't that be interesting? Because if Dorsey was built as was an infill. Yeah, the next that wouldn't have been. There's your Dorsey stop. Well, that's really interesting. I wonder where Berwyn would be. So you had a Laurel. Where's Laurel? There's Laurel. Laurel Racetrack, which is still barely a station. No Muirkirk. Unless that got renamed. But I know that that is also a newer station. But where is this Berwyn station? Oh, that was replaced by Greenbelt. Interesting. Boy, see, you learned something new. I didn't look at that very closely when I did this the first time. So, Elkridge's Dorsey was replaced by Dorsey. Laurel is there. No Laurel Racetrack. No Muirkirk, no Muirkirk, and Berwyn was replaced by Greenbelt. Anyway, there's your lesson about the old bar. Anyway, I was going about Conrail. So Conrail was running all the commuter lines in the Northeast, but the Republicans and Reagan saw that because the Conrail was still supported by the federal government after the major bankruptcies. So they saw that as a backdoor subsidy to the evil Northeast cities. So Congress forced Conrail to turn over operations to the states in 1983. But the B&O wasn't run or owned by the government or supported. It was a private railroad. I'm sure it was contracted by Maryland Dot, but they weren't. They never had to not run the contract. And the CSX only got they still ran that up until just a couple years ago when they turned over the franchise to Bombardier. It had actually been like the longest single rail service by by the B&O and its predecessors. It was running for like 130 years. It was pretty crazy. So anyway, where is that? Mark B&O 1983. Okay, sorry that rambled a bit. What's next? Okay, here this is an interesting thing. This was a controlled point at the crossing of, let me pull it up. Where is that? Come on, where is that? I gotta go back to Baltimore. So this is the first time I ever did something with a guy I know is Todd. He's a Signal fan from the Baltimore area. I think he probably saw like a website or some pictures of mine. And he basically offered to just go out on. I didn't have a car in the city at this point, so he was like, "Hey, want to go go to a couple places?" The first one is. Well, hold on, what is that? That's Bailey. So it's if you go down to Carroll Interlocking, it's the back door to Mount Wyon's yard with the old main line. So okay, this is a little hard to see. All these boxes. Here's Baltimore up there. There's downtown Baltimore highlighted. The old Camden Station is down around there by the sports complex. The B&O Museum that's where the old main line used to go. And that B&O Museum is up here. Right up there. And the old main line went this way. There's a bridge, and there's Mount Wyon's yard. And it came down and joined there at West Baltimore, what's now West Baltimore Interlocking. When they built the Baltimore Belt Line, that went through to Camden Station and through here. Anyway, they had a back door into Mount Wyon's yard, and part of that involved, it's not marked on the map, but there was a holdout signal both directions at Washington Boulevard. And I'm pretty sure it's called Washington Boulevard. It was replaced. It's still there today. It's got a pair of stop restricting Darth Vaders on either side. But that was mainly so you could have Y moves, or you could have trains doing some crazy movement at Carroll Interlocking and not have to worry about someone else coming out of the yard. Probably was a Y there at Carroll Interlocking. Anyway, the first stop on our way to HALETHORPE was this holdout signal here. And there was a dwarf in one direction, and then this horribly backlit B&O CPL in the other direction. Let's see if I can enhance this with a magic wand and some brightness. There it goes. Now I gotta go and find whatever I called this. Oh gosh. Infrastructure signaling. Go to CSX or D. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I just went with Washington Boulevard. I might have stopped off there twice. Also got to look to see if I've stuffed them under a Baltimore terminal subdivision heading, which they should all be in. BT sub, ZEP, West Baltimore. Nah, it doesn't look like it. Probably should, though. Let's see who's around on the chat. Oops, wrong one. Oh, it looks like the video is fixed now. How long was it out for? Oops. Yeek, I'm sorry. I don't know what it makes. I don't know what it makes it do that. Ah, damn. All right, sorry about that. You weren't missing too much. It was mainly me screwing up. Anyway, I'll gotta keep an eye on that. So let's see. Are these from this or something else? I went there twice. Here we go. Here's the old picture. Yep. See, I'll have a little bit better resolution this time around and fix the backlighting as best I can. So yeah, this is Baltimore had a lot of, I won't call them ghost CPLs. They're more like, I don't know. By the way, check out the vintage traffic light over here. Look at that. I bet that's not there anymore. A cable suspended traffic light. And I could go check to see if it's there with the magic. Pop up a Google. Where's that little Street View guy? Let's see what's there today. No, whatever those traffic signals there, they are gone. Maybe they were crossing related. Anyway, you can see the two new signals. Darth Vader 1, Darth Vader 2. A stop board, still called Washington Boulevard. All right, done. What was I doing? Anyway, sorry. Yeah, I don't know why there was traffic lights there. Boy, see, those are old school ones. Baltimore is anyway. Baltimore had a lot of just random like old like CPLs. Because they had a lot of industrial tracks, so you'd have, you get approach signals or random signals approach, at like going into an some interlocking somewhere. And you just sort of run into them. But CSX has done a pretty good job of getting rid of them, but a few of them are still around. Mainly approach signals, but I think there's a drawbridge that might still have some stuff. Alright. I think it's going to have one. I'm not sure how many more sets I'm going to have today. We will see. Oh, wait. These two need to get deleted first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yep, there it is. How much more do I have? 62. So that means if I do how many do I need to do? 62, 12 to 50. I need to do 14. There we go. Make sure stuff's still visible. Looks like it. Anyway, so I'll get to HALETHORPE. If I don't get there tonight, I'll get there tomorrow. So you can see I'm getting there a little bit. I'm glad I got pictures of this back in 1981 or 2005 because it's gone. It's gone now. It's gone. I wish I'd gone back and gotten some newer ones. I mean, that's the thing, This wasn't as. I mean, this is one of those. This interlocking. I literally drove past it not directly past it. I drove nearby on a fairly regular basis, and it's on the side of a street. Nothing was stopping pictures of it. Just sort of roll in and do whatever. But it's easy to forget. It's just sort of there, and it's boring. It's just a couple of CPLs. Nothing really exciting. But they're gone now, and I forgot. I just sort of forgot about them, and I probably shouldn't have. And I probably could have gotten a lot better coverage of these than I wound up with, which is, it's sufficient coverage, but it's not what it should be. This is actually a fairly modern CPL. I'll show you how you can tell that. You can tell by the junction box. I forget which company makes that. You see them around on like 70s, 80s stuff. It's got a little circle with a iron rail head profile in it. That was the later models of B&OC. It wasn't the latest model, but one of the later models. Before that, you'd have stuff with a GRS badge on it, but this is after GRS had stopped producing these. So they were having to outsource, get the supplies elsewhere. I wonder if that Dubois Textiles is still there. Didn't look like it. I think that's been redeveloped. So, for anyone wondering about safety in Baltimore, even back in the 90s was where it was really the issues, where it was bad. I wasn't around then, but I came by after. And generally, if you're ever around the city rail fanning reverie, just don't do drugs. If you're not involved in a drug deal, you're not going to get shot or stabbed or whatever. Very, very. See, why were there traffic lights here? What? Why? Makes no sense. There's nothing there. What was there? It's got to be something there. I want to look again. A lot of weird parking lots there. Yeah, this has been redeveloped to some degree. Oh, look, the Dubois Textiles is a new development. I was thinking that this was looking gentrified. Wow. Oh, and look what else is not there anymore. They this is what I was getting a picture of here. The very, very classic crossing gates there. Those are neat. Very neat. There are a bunch of those still around the city as well. The ones I knew off the top of my head aren't there anymore. And there's the Montgomery Park that used to be. Let's see what the Wikimapia tells me it is. It was a something. Montgomery Park. Montgomery Ward. Yep, it was a Montgomery Ward something. I wonder. Wait, you know what we can do? We can do the Google Street View back in time thing. I think we should be able to. It only goes far back as 2011, but that might be sufficient. Here we go. Yeah, there are the traffic lights. This one they were reconstructing everything. There's the CPL. I guess they just had traffic lights protecting the crossing. Wow, look. Yep. And 2012 is all gone. Yeah, the lights were just there were part of the active crossing protection. Interesting. Thank you, Google. There you go. So yeah, that stuff looks it's so much more elegant looking. You know, everything is just so much more slender, as opposed to today's just big old beefy aluminum posts. Yeah, this area is definitely undergoing some gentrification. It's near the stadium complex, and Federal Hill in that area is pretty much priced everybody out. So this is sort of close by. I don't know how much it's real gentrification versus maybe city-induced gentrification. Yep, you can see just restricting and stop on the CPL dwarf here. Let's see wait, let me just take a look at this one more time. What's going on there today? You got Royal Farms. There's a park. Yeah, it's probably Washington. I think that this just the housing area in this area is sort of coming along. Because again, the Federal Hill River, you know, that area is super gentrified. This is sort of the next to go. You got a park. You got industrial areas where you can get some jobs. Not bad. Yeah, so 2011 me was kind of negligent for not going back and getting pictures of all this. But then again, 2011 had a lot of CSX, a lot of CPLs were dying at that point, so I was kind of busy. Hey, at least CSX didn't just eliminate the whole holdout signal. Nothing uses Mount Wyon's Yard. That place is a ghost town. They've been consolidating all up and down the Baltimore area. They've I forget which yard it was that they closed, but they're trying to get out of Locust Point Yard. They're doing a lot of closures and consolidation thanks to Hunter Harrison, and well, he's dead, but his whole hey, we can run a railroad with no infrastructure plan. It's nice not to worry about names. Yeah, see how small this used to be when I was trying to save space? Oh, I should... Yeah, I'm forgot to change the save qualities back. Getting down there. Yep, you can see one of my my friend is there in the background. So there he is, just him and his other buddy. He had another signaling guy that they'd go out together and do stuff. This one actually doesn't really need any cropping, which is unusual. So in theory, I could go and ask, see if he could dig out his photos. So between the three people all taking photos of everything here, I guess we got it covered. I might not have the thing with it, but someone does. So I'm trying to get out of this boring stretch of stuff to get to the interlocking tower. Coming soon tomorrow. Pump this up a bit. There we go. It's very nice not to have to worry about file names. Notice again what I'm doing here. Back in the day, I really didn't care about straightening stuff, and now straighten. I can fill in the shadows. I can pop the saturation a little bit. I'll make it better. And of course, way bigger. Better resolution, using the full resolution that I had available to me. Here we go, more of the crossing equipment. Yeah, the other one I knew was down by it was at Leadenhall Street, which is right at Bailey's Y, the far end of Bailey's Y near the stadium. They had an old school one there that I think got replaced. But there's a bunch. There's a ton of those. That's the one saving grace of the signals might get zapped, but the crossing equipment tends to really linger, especially in rural areas. We don't have people all bitching and moaning that they're going to get hit by a train because they want to text and drive. Oopsies. Who's making this box? So let's see. We got, looks like WRRS, Western Railroad signal, and then a safe train. Boo. Get a name. That's just wrong. Getting down. There we go. All right. So I actually remember when I went out. I think I just was mentioning I wanted to go to HALETHORPE, and we were on the way, and it was like, oh yeah, we're just gonna stop at this signal on Washington Avenue, and I was just like, these are lame. These aren't the cool CPLs, because the whole city was literally pretty choked with B&O CPLs. So, like I said, HALETHORPE Interlocking was completely removed and relocated and became St. Denis Interlocking. So even pictures of the relay huts are fairly worthwhile. Well, let me see if I can go and find. I'm not sure if I would put this in towers or signaling. I'm gonna I'll put it under HX which is the name of the tower. Huh. Which I guess is HALETHORPE crossovers? Alright, I guess I put it in towers. H. Yeah, there it is. Oh man, this old file didn't even had a typo in it. Well, that'll get me free reign to rename this one. So yeah, HALETHORPE. It used from what I saw in various archives. And I'll get into this tomorrow. It had a an electromechanical machine, so like a USNS style one. We'll get into that tomorrow. That'll be pretty fun. So let me just finish this up. So HALETHORPE, as you'll see, the interlocking was neat because it had two 4-track CPL gantries on either end, and it was a complete 4-track crossover on like a freight. It's like an NEC style interlocking on an old CSX freight line, which is very interesting for you can see. Here's one side, 1, 2, 3, 4 tracks, and the other side, 1, 2, 3, 4 tracks. Where they all come from? We'll get into that. Get into that tomorrow. Let me just get this last name of the photos. Here it is. Oh, I didn't even see. Didn't straighten. What was I doing not straightening things in 2015? And one last one. So you have the tower itself. I don't know when it was built. Probably the 20s or the 30s. But we're going to get into the details of HALETHORPE Tower. Today, I just finished doing these photos. This is all, they like double boarded it up. I'm glad it's so when they relocated the interlocking, they didn't demolish the tower. The tower at the time had been a CNS hangout because it was still an active interlocking. It was a very complicated interlocking, so they had a CNS office. We'll see that tomorrow. Today, it's like super boarded up, and the vines are starting to really. You can't really get around it much because you quickly get into all sorts of brambles and stuff. So I don't want to give away the store here. So we'll get into all that tomorrow. The filter I used on this back in the day killed the saturation. What the? There we go. I have a lot of typos in my file names. Alright, let's see what I got. Let's delete all these. 13, 14. Yep. All right, let's see who's in, who's poking around still. Do I have anybody left? All right, well, everybody, thanks for hanging around. I appreciate you coming in. Tomorrow we're gonna finish the rest of this. I'm gonna have a full. That won't be tomorrow. Sorry, it's gonna be Monday. Sunday to Monday is when this rest is gonna happen. I have 4 sets, and we're just gonna go through the tower, the CPLs, all this stuff's real cool. It's a shame that it's gone. Anything else in this? This is just the signals. Nah, just the signals. We went by St. Denis too. All right, thanks for coming by, and I hope you have a wonderful day. See you, remember, Sunday to Monday. I'm not going to have time to do this tomorrow.